Hey Dream Team, so excited to send you this video, Dream Team news for January 20th. So excited to serve with you this weekend, come back after a snowstorm last weekend. And speaking of last weekend, let's recap last weekend. Nobody came to church, nobody came to Growth Track, nobody got baptized. Just kidding. But actually, we did see 11 people sign up from our campus for group leader training. So it was a great weekend. Bethany brought an incredible word, but not being together last weekend just makes me so much more excited for this weekend. So let me jump right into what to expect this weekend. We've got week 3 of the Legends series. It's been an incredible series. Really excited to have Pastor Daniel back this week. So make sure you help him preach this weekend. I know he always loves to come back after missing a week. In terms of what we're going to do to set up, we're going to have a pretty normal foyer set up. So coffee will be under that middle table with the seating around. Overflow is going to be on the far side of the foyer, so we'll have chairs ready in that closet to pull out when a crowd gathers. The student area is going to be, we'll move the student sign over by the guest services closet and put a table there with it with their materials. Because the first time guest area is going to be inside this weekend just based on what the weather is looking like. And so we'll have it set up inside unless a miracle happens with that weather. And then the growth track is going to be set up in the multi-purpose room. 5 tables this week, 5 circle tables. So we'll have that there. And then group leader training is going to be in that old college room with the sliding glass doors. Of course, Kids Point E-Check is going to be set up where it normally has been. And we're going to set up a special Kids Point environment next to the guest services wall right on that corner to attract people to sign up for a special Kids Point training that we're doing over the next couple weeks. So that's this weekend. Let me give you some news quickly about what's happening in the coming, starting this week and continuing into the coming weeks. So I sent an email last week, and thank you for everybody that caught my mistake. But we're going to start a new practice of closing DHQ for a limited period of time. So leading up to each service, we're going to close it for 15 minutes before service until 5 minutes after service starts. And so it's 20-minute period. And really the reason we're doing this is to help us remember where we want to be during that period of time. That's the period where everything's happening. So all the guests are coming in for Kids Point, all the parents are dropping kids off. We want to be in those positions so we can love people well, so we can smile and hug and high five and handshake to make that welcoming experience. And I know, I've done this before, that I get caught in DHQ, maybe grabbing something to eat or grabbing a coffee or caught in a conversation when I should be out greeting people. And so this is really going to be to help us remember to be where we want to be. DHQ is still excited to serve you as Dream Teamers, and so we're still going to have that available, but just plan to adjust if you ever find yourself during that time trying to go back there. Make the plan to adjust. Wait until 15 minutes after service starts to head back there and grab another cup of coffee. And as always, a best practice is when you go to DHQ, make sure you drink that coffee or the water or eat whatever it is in DHQ before you leave. It can just sometimes look a little sloppy when we walk around with a styrofoam plate or a cup of coffee in one hand trying to hug with another or high five with another. And so let's practice that of trying to finish it there in DHQ before we head out. A couple things to know for our guest services team and really for anybody. In the coming weeks, if anybody asks about freedom groups, I know Beth mentioned them this past weekend, so people might ask. If anybody's interested in them, have them email Taylor Philpott. Our group locator's down, so people can't get on the list, the wait list for it. So just tphilpott@lifepoint.org, and Taylor will get them hooked up onto that list to wait for freedom. And also, I know we always send a lot of people to lifepoint.org/care for many different things, but we just remade the LifePoint website, and that the /care doesn't exist anymore. So a couple things to know. For anybody that has a prayer request or wants to share their story, they could go to lifepoint.org/contact. And for anything else, for benevolence, for weddings, for funerals, for hospitals, they could send an email to info@lifepoint.org, and somebody from the staff will reach out to them and help them through that process. So that's the new place to send people to, lifepoint.org/contact or info@lifepoint.org email. For anybody that does not know, I mentioned this last week, But we are making a change in the coming weeks. On February 3rd, we're going to be moving the 5 p.m. service to 1 p.m. for the Super Bowl, but then we're going to leave it there. And so that's going to be really what we want to see is hopefully about 200 people from the 11:15 service to move to a 1 p.m. service, so we have more room for people far from God. Our 11:15 service is the one that always fills up first, and so we're hoping by moving it closer, it's going to make it easier for people to move, so we have more room for people far from God to come. Because if they're going to come, they're probably going to come to the 11:15, and we want to have space for them. A couple things, I'm sorry I glossed over this, for this weekend. In the auditorium, a couple things. First, we want to try to continue to open the doors ASAP, as soon as possible before every service, to help with the flow in the foyer, and that's especially going to help Kids Point out with parents trying to drag their kids into the Kids Point areas and then going and picking kids up after service. As quickly as we can get those doors open, it's going to help our campus really feel like a better campus. And a couple other things inside the auditorium. As we did the first week, we're going to hand out offering buckets during a last song of service, and so be prepared for that, ushers. Buckets, or if we need them, baskets to hand out to collect the offering at the end, and we're going to continue to train people on that. And also, while Pastor Sean is closing the service this week, we've got a card that we want to hand out to people. So Pastor Sean's going to ask people to raise their hand to get one of these cards. So we need to have a lot of people ready with these cards to hand them out quickly when Pastor Sean highlights them. So at 8 and 9:30, what we're going to be handing out is a Kids Point interest card to hopefully move some people to special trainings to get them onto the Kids Point team. At 11:15 and 5, we're going to be handing out 1 p.m. commitment cards to hopefully get people to move to that 1 p.m. service so it can be successful. All right, I want to highlight quickly one team on our campus. I know that I've told people that Kids Point needs help. This is one of our own teams that needs some help as well, and that's our parking team. It's one of those areas that is, it can be tough to serve in, but I want to take a moment and thank our parking team. Y'all have been so faithful to serve really, really well. You do an incredible job starting the experience, the welcoming experience for guests coming to Life Point. And what I'd love is, I'd love to ask 5 people to make a move out to the parking lot. I want to put a number on it. If we can get 5 people to say, hey, you know what, instead of serving where I normally serve, I want to serve in the parking lot, that's going to help our parking team incredibly and making it a great experience for people, that they feel hospitality before they even get in the building. Thank you, parking team. Love you guys. A couple upcoming events just to be aware of. Group Connect next Sunday, the 27th, and so the campus will look a little bit different, but I'm praying that every single one of you as Dream Teamers gets into a small group this semester. It'll change your life, and then it'll change our campus because you'll serve differently as you get more free. Second, Super Bowl Sunday, we're going to do a big game experience on February 3rd, just after the 1 p.m. So only after the 1 p.m., hopefully put a little fuel on the fire of launching that 1 p.m., and it's a great time to invite people to come and check that service out. All right, as we head into this weekend, 3 big things I want you to keep on the front of your mind. Ready? Number 1, the Kids Point team. Pray for their growth. They need some people. I was talking with Stefan. By the end of the year, they'd like to add 150 new Dream Teamers to really make it very healthy for all the kids, that they feel loved and the parents all feel confident. So pray for that team's growth. And I said it last week, I give you permission. If you've ever thought about serving in Kids Point, now is a great time to say, you know what, I want to make a switch. Our teams might feel it, but we can survive with a few less people. It's harder to survive with 50 kids in a room with less people. So we want to really bolster that team. Second, group leader training and Group Connect. Like I said already, I pray that 100% of our Dream Teamers are in a small group this semester, but more than that, I know there's probably some of you, no, definitely, there are some of you that God is calling to lead a small group. And I pray that you answer the call because your obedience is going to open the door for other people's freedom. And I'm telling you, because I've done it, it's the best experience that you can ever have. Finally, 21 days of prayer and fasting. We've had an incredible time over these past 11 days. We got 10 days left. I pray that you would make it a priority to be there at least one morning during these 21 days. I know you're praying. I hope that you're fasting with us. But being here in the presence of the room, in God's presence, is just incredible. I'll give you a little sneak peek that I get to share the testament or the devotional for it this Friday. So I'd love for you to be there. I'd love as much support as I can have there. And then I know Pastor gets to share on Saturday. And so you're going to want to be here at 9 a.m. Saturday. But no matter what day you can come, make it a priority to be here at least once. God will touch you. It'll give you some fuel to make it through this year. Well, I love each of you. Can't wait to serve with you this weekend. Hope you have an incredible week.